Hello my dear friends, this is Rajesh Mahapatra. I hope all of you are doing well and happiness. In this session, I'll be telling you about the concept of how do you create a new Windows server using GCP console portal. Apart from this, I'll guide you how do you reset your new Windows server password using GCP console portal and how do you stop the VM, how do you start the new Windows server VM and how do you delete your new Windows server using GCP console portal. Let's get started. Guys, as you can see here, these are the prerequisites for creating a new Windows VM or Windows server in Google Cloud Platform. You must have a valid Google Cloud Platform account to create and manage resources including GC instances. Within your GCP account, you need to create a project. Within your GCP account, you need to create a project. A project acts as an organizational unit within the GCP and helps you to manage and organize your resources. You can create a project through the Google Cloud Console. Enable the Compute Engine API for your respective project. This allows you to interact with the Compute Engine service programmatically and through the Google Cloud Console. Guys, as you can see here, the configure instance detail, like you need to define the name of the Windows server, choose a region and zone where you want the VM to be located. Under the machine configuration, select the desired machine type and which determines the VM or CPU and RAM resources. In the boot disk section, click on change to select a new Windows Server image. In the operating system drop down, choose a new Windows Server and select the Windows Server version you want to use. For an example, Windows Server 2019, Windows Server 2016. You can also customize the boot disk size if needed. By default, RDP Remote Desktop Protocol port 3389 is allowed for Windows VM. You can customize firewall rule settings as per your requirement. Configure the network settings such as VPC, network and subnet for the VM. Configure additional setting as per your requirement. After configuring the setting, click on the create button at the bottom of the page to create a new Windows Server instance as per your requirement. GCP will start the provisioning the VM instance based on your selected setting. This process might take a couple of seconds. I'll show you all the details in the lab so that you can easily understand it and you can easily create a new Windows Server based on your project requirement. Guys, let's consider one example. For your customer needs to create a new Windows Server based on his requirement. As you can see here, these are the prerequisites for your customer to create a new Windows Server in Google Cloud Platform. Name of the server as Windows Server Console. Region and zone like US Central 1 and zone like US Central 1B is your VM is located. And you know guys, the series type is E2 and machine type is E2 medium. Boot disk Windows Server 2022 version. Firewall rule, you can select both allow HTTP traffic and allow HTTPS traffic. Network setting as it is, like the default VPC and default subnet. And you can change your disk size like 50 GB, 100 GB, 200 GB based on your requirement. But in this example, we'll consider the default disk size as 50 GB for new Windows Server. Guys, as you can see here, these are the important steps you can go through one by one for creating your new Windows Server. I'll show you all the steps inside the lab so that you can easily understand it and you can easily remember it. As you can see here, after launch your new Windows server, then how do you set up your new Windows server password in GCP console portal? I'll guide you and I'll show you inside the lab also how do you set up your new Windows server password using GCP console portal. Guys, as you can see here, these are the important steps you can go through one by one for creating or set up your new Windows server password. I'll show you in the lab. Guys, let's switch to the GCP console portal. Guys, as you can see here, first of all, you should go to the GCP console portal and log in with your Google account credential. I already logged into my GCP account. As you can see here, the GCP console portal page. Now, in the GCP console portal page, click on navigation menu, click on compute engine, then click create instance button here, then write the name of your instance as Windows Server console and select your region as US Central 1A and zone as US Central 1B here. Then series machine type series is E2 and machine type is E2 medium as per your customer requirement, guys. In the boot disk section, click on change to select a new Windows Server image. As you can see here, in operating system, you can select your Windows Server operating system here. Then select the Windows Server VM like Windows Server 2022 data center. But guys, you should remember always you can select server with desktop experience like 2019 server here, server with desktop experience. As you can see here, 2016 server with Windows desktop experience. Similarly guys, as per our requirement, just I'll select here Windows Server 2022 data center here. Then as you can see here, this is the persistent disk as 50 GB. Then click on select here. Then scroll down. Then in access scope, all the remaining field as it is. Guys, as you can see here, the monthly estimate cost for the new Windows Server are approximately $63. Then you can click on firewall rule to allow the HTTP and HTTPS traffic. As you can see here guys, the advanced option tab here. Then go to the network setting and select the network as default. Already, as you can see here, this is the default network and default subnet as I selected here. You can select it same here guys. Then click on done here. Then remaining all the fields are optional. Based on your requirement, you can select it. Then click on create button here and wait a couple of seconds. As you can see here guys, just click on refresh button here. And as you can see here, this instance is running now and is your new Windows Server console. The name of the Windows Server is successfully created here. As you can see here in the notification tab also, create the VM instance Windows Server console is successfully created. Now I'll create a new firewall rule to allow the RDP port like 3389 to our new Windows Server. I'll guide you how do you create a new customized firewall rule for allow RDP port to your new Windows Server. Guys, click on the navigation menu bar here, then click on VPC network. As you can see here VPC, then click on firewall here. Then wait a couple of seconds to navigate to the VPC firewall rule console page. Guys, now you can click create a firewall rule. As you can see here, just you can click on the create a firewall rule button here. Then add the name of the firewall rule like Windows Server RDP port access. Then network is default. Select your VPC network as it is default. Then you select here your specified service account and select your service account. As you can see here, this is my default service account. Then add on your IPv4 ranges like 0.0.0.0. It allows all the port here, but guys, you remember this source IP ranges in your go live project. Based on your requirement, you can customize the IP source ranges here and add the respective IPv4 ranges inside here. Then you can create a firewall rule based on your project requirement. For the practical purpose, guys, you can add the port number in two ways. As you can see here, like the specified protocol and ports here, like select TCP, then write 3389 and 22 HTTP 8080 HTTPS, and this is the one way. Another way, guys, just you can click on allows all. It allows all the port. It allows all the port based on your requirement, and you no need to require to define your customized port here. But this is required only for, guys, the practical purpose, and you can just practice for your this respective lab and nothing else. You remember it. Only the practice purpose you can click on allow all button here. But in the real time work and in the real time project, you can select here. Then you can add your specified protocol and ports based on the requirement like TCP, UDP and more. Now I'll select here allow here. Just I'll repeat here again, name of the Windows server. Then you can select the default network here and you can specify your service account. Then select your service account here, guys. Then add the source IP ranges like 0.0.0.0. Then click on allow all protocol and port section. Just click on allow all. Then click on create here and wait a couple of seconds. As you can see here, this is your new Windows server. RDP port access is successfully created. This is your IP ranges, it protocols and port. It allows all the ports and protocols. And the subnetwork is default, and VPC also I selected here as default. Then, guys, you back to the GCP Compute Engine console portal page. Then click on here. As you can see here, this is the Compute Engine console portal page. Now I'll guide you how do you reset your new Windows Server password so that you can connect with RDP port. Here, guys, as you can see here, this is the connect here. Guys, first of all, you can click on RDP. As you can see here, click on this button here. Then click on set window password here. Already as I discussed all the important steps. Guys, as you can see here, this is your username. Then click on set here and wait a couple of seconds to retrieve your new password, or as you can say, this is your new Windows Server password. Just copy it here, then close it. Then guys, next step, you can download your RDP file here. Then as you can see here, download the RDP file here. As you can see here, the RDP file is successfully downloaded. Then click on here, then click on connect, then paste your password here, then click on OK, then click on yes. Then guys, wait a couple of seconds to start your new Windows Server. As you can see here, this is your new Windows Server. We'll start off here. It might take a couple of seconds to start your Windows Server. As you can see here guys, this is your new Windows Server. I hope so now guys you can easily understand it. How do you create a new Windows Server using GCP console portal? Now guys, based on your requirement, whatever you want, you can create a file, create a folder, create a subfolder. Based on your requirement, you can create it. Here, as you can see here, inside the folder, you can create a new file here. Now guys, if you want to close this Windows Server or disconnect this Windows Server, then click on here guys. Then as you can see here, this is the pop-up window will be appear here. Your remote session will be disconnected. Then click on OK here. Now guys, finally, if you want to start or stop or delete your Windows Server using console portal, as you can see here, all the respective button is available here. This is stop, suspend, reset, delete, levels, permission, and whatever you want. For an example, if you want to stop the Windows Server, then click on here, or already as I discussed here, this is more action. Guys, you have multiple options. You can click on the stop button icon here, and you can click on here, then click on stop and click on stop here. As you can see here, the stopping the Windows Server console here, click on refresh button here. As you can see here, this instance is being stopped now, and wait a couple of seconds. Now as you can see here, this instance is stopped, and click on notification icon here, bell icon here guys, and stop the VM instance. Windows Server console is successfully stopped now. Then similarly guys, if you want to start the Windows Server, then click on here, start, resume here, then click on start here, and wait a couple of seconds to start your new Windows Server in Compute Engine portal. Then click on refresh button here, and as you can see here, the status of the new Windows Server as this instance is running, and as you can see here, the notification bell icon here, the start VM Windows Server console is successfully running now. Then guys, finally, if you want to delete your Windows Server, then select here, then click on delete here, or as you can see here, click on delete here also. Best as per your requirement, you can delete your Windows server. Then guys, click on delete here. Then as you can see here, delete Windows Server console pop-up window will be appear here. Then click on delete here. Then wait a couple of seconds to remove or terminate your Windows Server console permanently in Compute Engine portal. As you can see here, the Windows Server is successfully terminated here, and there is no VM or there is no Windows Server is available here. Guys, now I hope so you can easily understand how do you create a new Windows Server using GCP console portal, and you can learn how do you reset your new Windows Server password using GCP console portal, and how do you start, stop, delete your Windows Server using Google Compute Engine portal. Guys, I hope so now you can understand it. Thank you and have a great day.